And we are back, folks, for another edition of the Michigan Football Breakdown, focused on the defense with Vance Bedford. He called it. He said this team was going to win the Big Ten championship. They were going back to the college football playoff. That all the people who said it was about the signs didn't know what they were talking about. Vance, like I've said so many times, my brother, you were right and they were wrong. You were right and they were wrong. How are you this afternoon, Vance Bedford?
And I'm doing fantastic. Being here in Loveland, Colorado, beautiful weather, 56 degrees. You can't beat it. Sun shines during the days of the year. Man, I you gotta love it. And you know what, Sam? Check this out. What's on the back of my wall right here? What did that say right there?
That's a national champion.
1997 national champions. Is it that time of the year again? Yes, it is, baby. We got the team we wanted in the first place. Alabama, with the great Nick Saban. You know, when I was in Michigan, old brother Nick was down there at Michigan State, and we spanked that all the time. Guess what time it is? Time to spank it again, baby. That's all I got to tell you. We got exactly what we want. Now, Sam, as long as we don't rush 3 like Georgia did and spot you, or rush 1 like Auburn did on 4th and goal on the 31-yard line, we're gonna be okay. That's all I gotta say.
Man, I don't understand that coverage. Maybe you could explain it to me, Vance, how a coach would say, we're going to double everybody inside. We're not really going to rush anybody. We're going to give them all day. We go man to man on the outside. I don't understand that defensive approach, Vance. Can you break it down for me?
When you're scared of a quarterback that's 6'2", 215, probably run 4.5, you can't be afraid when you go into the game. You just got to turn it loose. You got to be who you are. What got you to the dance in the first place? Now, I'm watching a Georgia game. I'm screaming at my TV. What are you doing? You let him sit back there. He missed his first 2 throws, and he realized they're not going to rush me. So he sat back there and got confident. And they playing man to man. He started picking those guys apart. I mean, okay, if you're going to spot a guy, rush 4 and spot 1. But don't rush 3 and let 2 guys sit there. I mean, you gave the guy a chance to gain his confidence, and guess what he did? He gained his confidence and started ripping him a new butthole. And then all of a sudden, they started running the ball on a power play. The quarterback power. Couldn't stop that either. So Georgia went there not to let a guy beat him, and he beat the brakes off of him. That's all he did. Mm-hmm. Now, I know we're not doing that. We're going to turn the dogs loose. He's going to say, who let the dogs out? Jesse. Who let the dogs out? Jesse. We're going to turn them boys loose. That's all I got to say.
Hey, I guess you got new theme music. Because Steve Horace said, hey, Vance, stand up and get crunk, Vance.
Man, I'm always ready to go. I can't bring the music out because it's a live show. On the other show, we can. So, hey, you know that. We're going to get crunked up.
Yeah, Java Carr said, I want to hear Vance theme music. Yeah, they'll flag us if we play it on the live show.
Yeah, so, that's why I got it off, baby. I knew, but I couldn't set you up that way, Sam. So I got to make my own tune. You know how it is.
I hear that. Hey, man, that works too, Vance. That works too. So let's get into what you saw in the Iowa game, because I know you had to be smiling from ear to ear based on the performance of one player in particular, a guy who you've been calling out. From the time he moved over, you said, man, this guy can play. This guy can play. And the guy that you called Lil Mike was Big Mike in the game. He was Big Mike in the game, making big plays left and right.
He balled out. He did it in run support. He did it blitzing. He did it in pass defense. You name it. He was a jack of all trades, but to be honest, he was a master of all trades in that ball game. Everything I thought the little man can do, he showed up and he balled out. But what I like most about Lil Mike is this. He's a very intelligent football player. Sometimes we don't give athletes credit. To do the things he has done, playing nickel, playing corner, moving around, certain defenses that him playing safety, he does it all. He does it all extremely well. He's a great leader, and he turns nothing down. I'll go back to the previous game. I mean, he came up one time in the Ohio State game, and he tattooed that running back. He knocked him flat on his back. So for a guy his size, pound for pound, he's as tough as any football player out there. So I can't wait to see him against Bama. To lock down the guy in the slot. If they put him on the corner, you're going to lock him down. It's not a doubt in my mind what he brings to the table. Sam, I got a couple of questions already. Somebody direct messaged me and said, I've been reading all the press clippings, and they say he won't have a chance. I don't know what press clippings he's been looking at. Like I said, when you play in a championship game, It's 50-50. You bring your A game to you. So to me, I've been saying it from the start. If JJ brings his A game, Sam, I've been saying this from the start. We're going to beat Penn State. We're going to beat Maryland. We're going to beat Penn State. We're going to beat Bama. JJ bring his A game, we're going to win the ball game. I saw something earlier today. And this is from the Texas. They got this group like you have, bring your guys, 3 guys, and they were rated the quarterbacks. They had, of course, Quinn Ewers had the top-rated quarterback. That's their ranking. The guy from Washington, then the guy from Alabama, and JJ fourth. I'm like, what video this fool been looking at? Somehow, I wish somebody from Texas say, Vance, when you come on my show and talk about my Longhorns, what's going to happen, I'm not going to rate them that way. That's just me. See, I done seen JJ every ball game and Quinn Ewers every ball game. Sometimes I wonder what people been looking at. But you know what? Nobody from Texas ever asked old Vance, old former Longhorn and coach there. But when you ask me about Michigan, I got all the answers for you.
Yes, sir. So, I know how much you love Dax. I could tell this story now. I talked a little bit about it with Devin on the Monday morning quarterback, but I remember it was the summer heading into the 22 season. So the summer before last season. And I was talking to Clink. And Clink was like, man, Dax, phenomenal athlete. We all know Dax. Dax he's one of the best athletes to ever come through Michigan. And I know you love Dax. And I remember thinking, man, that's gonna be a hole. Like there's gonna definitely be a drop off at that position. And Clink was like, no, man, he said, I don't think there's gonna be this huge drop off that you're talking that you think is gonna be. Because I just went through practice watching Mike St. Ristel, and he said, man, he's not the athlete that Dax. Well, he's a good athlete, but not the athlete that Dax was because he's just different level. But he said, man, his football IQ is through the roof. His football instincts are outstanding. He just makes plays, and he's physical. You might not think he's physical for his size, but he'll go in there. You can send him on a blitz, and he'll get home. He can cover quickness in the slot as well. So he's, from a coverage perspective, we feel really good. If there was going to be a drop off, it was going to be in the box. But he said we definitely aren't going to see a drop off in coverage. And Vance, looking back on it, because I said at the time, I was like, come on, Clink, man. I'm not interviewing you. Like, we just talking. We just eating, This is not an interview. And he was right, Vance. I mean, they didn't have this huge drop-off. And Mikey is one of the better defenders that we've seen in the Harbaugh era.
I totally agree. I was concerned about that, too. I talked about that because, I was a big fan of Dax. And I go back to a year ago, and when the season started off, I'm like, he does some good things, but he don't show up and run support. He's a little hesitant as far as certain coverages. And as the season went on, you can see him get better and better. And this year, he just took off. It's to be frank, he is better at his senior year than Dax was. He does more things his senior year than Dax did his senior year. I love what he does. His covering ability, his instincts, his football IQ. Then when things get tough at the corner, bam, they put him out of that corner. He goes and shuts the guy down. It's like we talked a couple of weeks ago about Ohio State. And you said, well, the drop-off with my man Johnson, there was no drop-off. There was none whatsoever. He went in there and put the big boy shoes on and said, hey, man, you had my little brother out here and my man Will. He a little limping right now. Big brother come out there right now. And that's what man Micah did. Say, big brother is here. I don't want to hear nothing else. And he did to do, man. So, I'm a big fan of Mike. I've been saying that from last year. He brought it to the table. He started off, in the Big Ten championship game. Showed off.
Yeah, he had that near interception on third, and I think it was like 3rd and 4. He almost picked it off. I'm sure, see, I think Rob Bellamy came over and said, wait a minute, man. I'm trying to get you to come play some receiver. You're not helping that out. I don't know if that's really happening, but probably he could moonlight as a receiver like he used to play back in the day. And then he had the 2 forced fumbles, one of which came in the red zone and led to the touchdown. He's just been big time all year long. You wonder if he had done that, if they included the Big Ten championship game in the criteria for defensive player of the year, maybe Mikey would have got more votes because I think he was very deserving. What did you think of the overall defensive performance, though, Vance, against Iowa, and knowing that Iowa is not that good of an offense to begin with?
You know what? They did what they had to do. I mean, you got a team come up in 22 personnel. I said that last week. They don't come up with 22 personnel. They came up in 22 personnel. I was hoping they would listen to this show and didn't do that. They came up there not to get beat badly. And they still got beaten badly. I mean, our first play, we run cowboy. They run a lot of cowboy. Just bring the corner off the edge. And they had a naked boot on the first play. We got a cowboy off the edge. And the back did a great job taking a guy in the flat, incomplete pass. I'm like, you guys in trouble. And then we get turnovers. Physically, it was a great game for us because when we play Alabama, it's going to be a physical team in the trenches. So we looked pretty good. I thought holding up against the run, taking on double teams, the duo. I think that was perfect. We blitzed, gave them some different looks in blitz, bringing the cowboy, which we hadn't done. I think we ran cowboy, the corner blitz about 3, maybe 4 times. Every time was successful. Played a variety of guys because we have been nicked up. It was a dominant performance. Anytime you hold somebody to 0, it's a great game. Not a whole lot to say. I gave them too much credit. I said they're going to score 9 points, gave them 3 field goals. I was totally wrong. I don't think they barely crossed the 50-yard line. It's 22 personnel, quarterback under center. It's 2023. That's what I saw back in 1997. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, it's caveman football. What in the world? And I don't know. I'm embarrassed for the fans. My hat's off to Coach Parker. He did win the Broyles Award. He did a great job because he played basically with his hands tied behind his back with that offense. I think they had either the second or third most snaps for a defensive team in college football because their offense was so bad. And they played in the Big Ten championships. My hats is off to that gentleman. He did a tremendous job there.
Yeah, I think Phil Parker is outstanding. I had him before Sharon had to coach the last, 3 games.
3 games.
Yeah, I had Phil Parker as the Broyles Award. He to do what he's done for years with a terrible offense, not just bad. I mean, it's putrid.
It really is.
It's amazing that they can actually get away with it.
Nepotism. Nepotism. Let's be for real. See, back in the 80s and 90s, there used to be nepotism laws in certain states where you couldn't hire a family member. Somehow that kind of disappeared. And so you get unqualified guys can have a job for 15, 20 years. And even after 20 years, they're still unqualified. They didn't learn anything over that time period. And that's what you saw with that offense. It's a lack of recruiting. And I just got to go back to 4 years ago when they had to let go of the strength and conditioning coach. Now, the head coach's son was involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this. Why you pay a guy $1 million to keep his mouth shut? Sam, if he did something wrong, you gonna pay him $1 million to keep his mouth shut? He took the fall. I'm just my perspective. I could be totally wrong, but if he did something wrong, why would you pay him $1 million? He had something on somebody. Somebody was at the juke joint, maybe drinking when they weren't supposed to be drinking. I have no idea what it was. I'm just speculating.
Mm-hmm. Your boy Urban, hey man, your old boss. I should say your old boss Urban tried to hire him with the Jaguars. Man, the players
what happened? What happened after a month? Then what happened after a month? The players say, "We're not gonna come work out for this guy." Really? That was the first nail in Urban's coffin. Trying to hire that guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you hire somebody, look at the history, the true history. Sometimes it's a false narrative out there, but the true history right was on the wall. Because think about this. The strength coach is the right-hand man of the head football coach. He wasn't doing things on his own by himself. I mean, so let's not all be naive. So it goes deep. So again, he get $1 million to keep his mouth shut. I did it by myself. I think that any program or talk to any coaches, any other program where the strength coach did something by himself without the knowledge of the head man in charge. It's just all an opinion. That's all it is.
Yeah, so what I can say is, we've heard players and coaches say different things about Iowa, the strength coach, Ferentz, but I've never heard anybody utter a bad word about Phil Parker. That says something to me, even behind the scenes. So tremendous coach, seems like a tremendous dude. I if the circumstances were different, if Michigan goes through the end of the season and Jim Harbaugh is coaching, they undefeated, I would give the award to Phil Parker.
Yeah.
But Sharon had to coach against Penn State on the road. He had to coach against Maryland with his quarterback. He didn't practice basically all week. Then he had to coach against Ohio State, and he won all those games. Vance, I don't see how you get an award to anybody over him, even as good as Phil Parker is.
Politics. Let's be honest. I mean, it goes back to, again, a narrative was put on Michigan that they didn't do things above board. So sometimes when it comes to certain awards, people take that into account also. I mean, and Coach Parker did a tremendous job, outstanding. But because of what the 3 different hats that Sharon had to wear as an assistant football coach, he deserved those awards. But I think the narrative that was painted on Michigan from when all this stuff came out about the guy who got a 500-page manifesto, that's the first thing. He got a manifesto. So something's wrong right there. Why are you going to listen to a guy who had a 500-page manifesto?
600 pages.
I digress again.
Hey,
I digress.
600 Man, well, hold on. 600 pages, bro.
600 pages? He really sick. 500 is bad, but 600 pages? Nah, they can't even put him away. And people are going to listen to that, but I think that's part of the narrative too. That all goes into it. So people think about those things. It's all subjective. Coach Parker deserved to be there. He deserved to get that award. I'm not going to take anything from him. But Sharon Moore, what he accomplished the last 3 ball games, to me, should have put him over the top, and it didn't. But again, to be a finalist, that's a great honor in itself. So I think he still was honored because of what he did accomplish. My hat's off to him also.
And so, folks, if you have questions for Vance, start getting them in the chat right now. But before we get to those, Vance, I want you to give me your take on Alabama. Sounds like you watched the Georgia game. What are your impressions watching Bama this season?
A physical football team offensively with an athletic quarterback. He has a cannon for an arm, but accuracy sometimes could be questionable. He'll throw the ball high sometimes. I saw against Georgia, they ran duo, okay? And they had that 330-pound defensive lineman. They put him on his back several times. But again, Georgia's a team to just sit there and say, block me, and they will. We move enough to slow all that stuff down, which I think is going to benefit us. But they're a physical football team. Defensively, they're going to walk up and press our guys. If you got 10 snaps, 8 times, they're going to be oppressing you. So we got to find ways to get our guys open. They're going to run quarters, 4 press. They're going to run man-to-man. 3 match is, in other words, they match everything close in this 3D zone. So, again, offensively, we need motion guys, run tandem splits, bunch formations. Defensively, let's do what we do. Let's go blitz these guys right now. Let's run lightning right now. Getting off the bus. I'm running lightning right now. It takes away duo, it takes away the quarterback scramble. Let's go get these guys right now. Let's run nickel Sam right now. Let's go get them. Let's run cowboy right now. Again, let's be aggressive. If we do that, think about it now. Alabama's offense, certain games have struggled. Sometimes they start off hot, but then people adjust to what they're doing in the game, and they start struggling somewhat. So let's go get them early and see what happens, and let's just have some fun.
Yeah. All right, folks, if you have questions for Vance, I just put the prompt in the chat, start laying them out, and we'll start getting to your questions for the man, Vance, as we've been hearing all week. People want to know, is Vance here? Because Al had the Al Borges bus going down to it's no joke, Vance. You think I'm joking. It was the Al Borges. He had a bus. Yes, that went down to the championship game. And people got on. His bus was sold out. And we were at the the event at the the pregame radio show event, and Borges was there, and people he holding court. They asking him all kind of questions. Then some ladies came up to the radio booth, and they're like, "Is Coach Borges here? Where's Coach Borges?" I called Al up, and the 3 ladies, they were taking pictures with him and asking him questions. He's turned into a celebrity, man. It's kind of going to his head, bro.
It's going to his head. He can't get a cap on that big ball head of his. I mean, that's Professor Elmer Fudd is what I'm saying right
there. Yeah, he the man. So I said, no, Vance is not here, and he won't be at the Rose Bowl. But if they make it to the championship game,
I'll be there, baby.
Oh, Vance is going to be there. So People want to know, are we going to have a Rose Bowl event? I got a meeting about having a Rose Bowl event on Thursday. So there's a lot going on this week. That's one of the reasons why we're moving all the film studies to next week. I got to get ready for this Blake Corum event that I'm telling you guys about here shortly. We're trying to plan a Rose Bowl event. A lot of all these other things that go on behind the scenes take time, energy, and planning. So working on those things this week, as well as obviously the site that we got to tend to over on the MichiganInsider.com. Before we get to the questions for Vance, I just mentioned a minute ago the Blake Corum event. So the Blake Corum toy drive over at Somerset Collection this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., brought to you by Wolverine Boots. You can attend. You are all invited. If you want to come and support the community, support kids who might not have a Christmas, were it not for toy drives like this, you can do that just by coming to this event. And an added incentive for your participation, for your attendance, if you come and you donate a toy, guess what, people? You get a chance to take a picture with the guys. Blake's going to be there. JJ's going to be there. Mikey's going to be there. Junior Colson's going to be there. I mean, the whole band of guys going to be present just to be there so they can help support these kids who, again, this toy drive is to help kids here in Southeast Michigan who might not have a Christmas otherwise. The donations benefit the Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries. Blake is going to be taking the toys from the event and delivering them to the ministries himself. And so you can really help with that effort and to get people out to the biggest incentive to do it is you're helping kids, you're helping the community. But to incentivize it even more, they said, you know what? We're going to take time out of our off week. This is their off week, Vance. We're going to take time out of our off week to go do this and reward the fans who come out and spend time and money to support these kids. So that's 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. over at Somerset Collection. Again, they said you can start, doors are going to open at 10, so you can start getting in line at 10. You get the earlier, the better as far as coming on out. So get on out, support what is a great cause. I'm going to put Blake on the screen for those who are watching us here on the stream so you can have all the details. Lego, Build-A-Bear, and Toys R Us will be matching up to the first 100 toys with a value of $25 per toy. They all have stores in Somerset Collection. So even if you don't bring a toy, you can go to one of those stores and buy a toy, donate it, get your picture taken with the guys. And, the support they're getting from Champion Circle for this is outstanding. And the support they're getting from Wolverine Boots. I don't know if people really know the affiliation Wolverine Boots has with the Michigan football program. But Blake was first up. He was first to the table to get an NIL agreement with Wolverine Boots. Wolverine is America's original work boot brand. They were established in 1883, and Wolverine has been making boots for the nation's hardest workers for 140 years. Very much, it's very much in keeping with who Blake is. If you listen to my interview, you listen to any interview with Blake, you can tell this. But you talked to his dad. We had James Corum on the morning show a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, "Man, he grew up in my landscaping business, grew up on tractors and skid steers." The dude, being out and working outdoors, working outside, doing that kind of labor is something that he grew up on. So it was a natural fit for him to get with Wolverine Boots. And Wolverine Boots not only wanted to connect with student athletes like they did with Blake, but an opportunity to really show their commitment to this state and the people in it and helping those who need it. That's what you get with Wolverine Boot, blue collar work ethic and giving back to the community, all wrapped up in the support for this event and the support for NIL. Like I said, they started their partnership with Blake in 2022, and that just opened the doors. That's what you like to see with these guys. They get a deal, and then they go get a deal for their guys. So 2022 Wolverine Boots signed their NIL agreement with Blake. Then they came back in 2023 and signed deals with J.J. McCarthy, Junior Colson, Mason Graham, and Colston Loveland. So when you support them, when you go and buy any of your Wolverine Boots attire, you are actually supporting Michigan student athletes as well. And that's how a lot of people find out about all of the great offerings that Wolverine Boots has. We'll give you their website here before we get out of here. But at the same time, want to remind you before we get to the questions for Vance. Again, the toy drive this Saturday, 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. You bring a toy, you donate that toy, you get a chance to take a picture with the guys, with Blake, with JJ, Junior, Donovan. They'll all be there. So if you're looking for that kind of opportunity, great Christmas card, right? You can get on out there and do that this Saturday. For those who can't attend, I'm going to have my film crew out. So, 3 cameramen, guys with stick mics, the lights, the whole nine, and we'll have the producer there switching between cameras. So it'll be like you're there. You'll be seeing everything that goes on. There'll be ways for you to contribute to the many different initiatives. I know Blake has a rent relief initiative that he's supporting as well. So lots of different ways in which you can give back and help support the student athletes in giving back as well. We'll be showing you that on Saturday, live streaming the event right here on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, and also on Twitter. All right. Get on out and support the guys as they give back to the community. Okay. Now it is time to get to the questions for one Mr. Vance Bedford. And they've been lining up, Vance. They've been lining up since the very beginning. Lots of support. Let's just knock them down. Kwame Tubasami said, Jesse Minter is a great defensive mind and will have many schemes for Saban and squad. I ain't worried. A lot of people are intimidated just by Nick Saban walking in the door. But this squad, I mean, given all the adversity that they face, Vance, I can't imagine there's going to be any intimidation as they walk into the hallowed grounds of the Rose Bowl.
I don't see it. I mean, guess what? You're at the University of Michigan. You have 1,000 wins. So what are you worried about? I think the last time they played was Bama. Tom Brady was there, and he beat those guys in what, the Sugar Bowl, I believe, or the Citrus Bowl. So now I have no worries. Jesse's going to have a lot of things designed for this guy, especially on third down. The key is on third down is getting after this quarterback. Mm-hmm. Like I said, he's going to bring him off the edge, from the field, from the boundary, up the middle. He's going to find ways to take away the run game and force this quarterback to beat him by throwing it from the pocket, but not rushing 3 like Georgia did, and rushing 1 like Auburn did. He's going to get after this guy. Not a doubt in my mind.
All right. Steve Horn wants to know, Vance, do you think we're going to have to slant and stunt and twist against the huge Bama line? Seems like our movement will be key.
That's been key for us the entire year. It's not something new we're going to do. We're going to continue to do what we've always done. We're going to play base defense, let the guys get vertical. We're going to angle, slant, and twist them. We're going to try to keep the big fellas off balance a little bit. If you just sit there and say, here I am, then yeah, they can knock you off the football. But they realize that we're a movement team, so they got to practice movement. And the biggest thing is that's going to bring us some success and tackle for losses. We get them behind the sticks, we win that battle. So we're going to do what we've been doing the entire season.
All right. Get back to the questions for Vance. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one from Steve Horn. I wonder what you think of this comparison from Mikey. He said, Mikey is the honey badger. Ball just finds those guys. Ed Reed, too. Instincts and film study. Do you see any of that in Mikey?
He's a ball hawk. I mean, not many guys have that natural ability. They find ways to be around the ball to make plays. And he does a tremendous job in doing that. Like I said, from a year ago when he first started playing to now, you can see the transition. You can see the change, the improvement, the confidence. All those things have led him to be the player he's become. So, yeah, he's a playmaker like Ed Reed. He really is.
All right. So moving on to the next question. Let's go ahead and. All right. Antoine Johnson, cover 7, cover 3 match. Vance Bedford, can you explain the concepts in the defense and explain the weakness? Al talked about 3 matches. This is a really good question. Antoine,
3 matches, cover 3, but the corners can walk up and press. In other words, unless they do a shallow cross route, they take those guys man to man. So the underneath covers, for example, if you run 11 personnel, you got 2 receivers, tight ends to the boundary. The nickel back who's on that slot receiver, he got him man to man if he goes vertical. Only way he'll cut him loose if he does a shallow crosser, then he zones up. The same thing to the curl flat drop to the boundary. If that guy does anything vertical outside, he takes some man-to-man unless he does a shallow crosser. So it is total matchup. It looks just like man-to-man on certain routes. It turns to cover 3. That's why they call it 3 match. So it's an excellent coverage, but you got to have some corners to be able to do that. If you have corners to do that, it's a great job. Because like I say, I go back to, I think, 2014 when Nick just ran 3 match and man free, and they played Ohio State, who got into the playoffs, and Ohio State ran by him. That's when he went to quarters. So right now he plays more quarters than he does 3 match. 3 matches now is change up, but quarters of his guy are those safeties being heavy run support guys, because once again, the corners walk up and press, and they match up everything underneath. And the way you be matched sometimes is by motion, and you motion to stack splits. So now if you go back to Ohio State when my man Marvin got that deep route in cover 6, that was a stack split. And Willard jam them. So to beat what they do, you motion to stack splits and run your routes. We have guys running free all day long.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you say they watch, Vance. You say they watch.
Ooh, you know they watch. You know that. Come on, baby. They're getting all the information. They know we're the gurus around here. I got my crystal ball. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who the smartest of them all? Professor Al.
All right. Moving on to the next question. Oh, they want to know about your Longhorns. Munir says, Vance, what did your Longhorns do to beat Alabama? Is Michigan capable of doing the same, and will the results be the same given Alabama's improvement over the course of the year?
Offensively, big plays. They ran by him. They got a receiver's name is Worthy. He can flat fly. He just flat ran by them. And I think his speed shocked them. And defensively, if you go back to the first few games, Milroe got benched, I think, the 3rd ball game. They try to make him like Bryce Young, a drop back passer. That's not what he is. And they finally realized when they brought him back, all of a sudden, well, we're going to run some quarterback power, some zone read plays, some RPOs. We're going to let that kid be who he is. And that's the difference in the game. And Texas is so big inside. You got one guy, 367 pounds. I think he got defense player of the year in Big 12. The other guy's probably about 315. So you're not knocking them big guys off the ball. They're so doggone big, so they couldn't run on them. And they tried to make my quarterback Bryce Young. He stood in the pocket throwing the football. He kept throwing it to Texas or throwing it over their heads. And that's the difference in the ball game. So, again, you shouldn't play a different quarterback right now. I think about the 5th game of the year, I said Alabama one of the best teams in the country because now the quarterback is a key to what they're doing. And they're always going to play good defense. They're not the great defense they were 2 or 3 years ago, but they're still really good on defense.
Yeah, man, you mentioned the difference. I talked about this with Al. I talked about it on the morning show. Tommy Reed's new offensive coordinator for Nick Saban. He went in there and you said it best. Like he was trying to make Milroe be something that he wasn't. He was trying to make that dude fit his scheme instead of making his scheme fit that dude. And this is my theory. And you tell me, because you've been in coaching a long time, you've been around guys who you coach against Nick Saban, you've been around guys who work for him. I think Nick, they benched Milroe and they put Tyler Buckner in the 3rd game. I think it was USF. And I think they won. They were down at one point early.
Yes,
I think might have been at halftime they were down. They wound up winning 17-7. They put the dude back on the bench. And man, Vance, they put Milroe back in the game. Made him start again. My theory is Nick Saban said, look here, man, this is how this is about to go. we about to put this dude back in the game, and this is how we gonna run this offense. Now you can call plays, but you got to stay in this box.
That's right.
Because you got out the box trying to put this guy who didn't play at Notre Dame. And Vance, I don't know if you know this, he just
transferred back to Notre Dame, didn't
he? He in the transfer portal. You know, he transferring to play lacrosse now. He not even playing college football no more.
Ooh, Nick Saban broke him. Nick could break you now. I mean, it's like old military. You're gonna do it his way, or you go hit the highway. Because I go find another one right just like you, because the pro scouts like how he developed his players. That's why the guys go there and they go through all the things he put them through, because they think, I go to Alabama and I play for Nick Saban, I got a great chance of going to the National Football League. But what they don't realize, if you're not talented enough, you're not going to play there. I mean, at the end of the day, I think you're right. Nick Saban's going to say, we're going to do what this kid can do. I know what your offense is. This guy can win games for us. But you know what's interesting? You know, Jalen Hurts, who played for Nick, he's from the Houston area. You know, this quarterback from the Houston area also, and nobody in the Big 12 recruited either one of those guys. I was at Texas when Jalen Hurts came out, and he didn't fit our offensive personality. So we didn't even offer him a scholarship. The kid cried when he couldn't go to Texas. And look what he's doing right now. So again, everybody develops at different stages in their life. I give my credit to Nick. He goes and finds guys that fit what he wants to give him a chance. And at the same time, he's going to protect his defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that's been a real lesson for me over all these years talking to coaches, how married your offense and your defense are. Like I've learned that if you have an offense that's all about lighting it up, it's very rare that you have a really, really good defense that's attached to that. It's been time tested, Vance. That if you're gonna play good defense, your offense has to cater to that.
It has to be a two-way street. And when the up-tempo spread offenses came into it, all these offensive coordinators said, if I can average about 40 points and 85 plays, I'll give me a head job. And a lot of them did. A lot of defensive coaches got fired in the process. I worked with a guy one time. You know what his goal was? To get to 100 plays. He never talked about winning. Mm-hmm. I'm going to run 100 plays. Well, let's talk about what does it take to win? So there was no plan in place. I mean, working for Earl Bruce and Lloyd Carr and Urban Meyer, you know what all three of those guys talked about? Protect the defense. We got to find ways as a team, because we can't win with just one side of the ball. Mm-hmm. It takes both sides of the ball and special teams to win. Guys who think they can win one side of the ball, they don't win the games. And I go back to when Baylor was hot around 2013, 14, and 15. I mean, they were lighting it up. And on defense, you know what they did? They ran two defenses. They ran quarters or they zero blitz you. I know the DC, he used to say, Vance, I'm going to roll with him one time. He said, Vance, a man just say, you can just stop him 2 or 3 times, we're going to win. That was their philosophy. So just stop him 2 or 3 times, we'll outscore everybody. And for the most part, they really did. But when they didn't have that quarterback and that receiver, they had to play defense. And guess what? They couldn't do it. And it caught up to them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, let's get back to the questions for Vance. Keep putting them in the chat, and we will keep knocking them down. All right, Nuber wants to know, how would Vance contain Milroe's running ability? Seems like Michigan struggles with running QBs.
Everybody across the country struggles with running quarterbacks. Georgia does, Alabama does, Texas does. When you get a guy that you have to account for in a run game, now you got to defend 11. When a quarterback is like a Statue of Liberty, you defend 10. So get ready for quarterback power, quarterback sweep. And a lot of times they do it by certain formations. It's going to be very important that we recognize formations. If you get down a 3rd down and 5, be ready. They got a fullback, offset back that's in front of the quarterback. It's a good chance for them to run quarterback power. So again, the players have to recognize that. And you got to be able to blitz that. Working with Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow. That's what 3rd down and 5, it's a good chance you're going to get quarterback run. When I was at Michigan in 2007, when we played Urban Meyer and what's his name won the Heisman Trophy, we said 2 things.
Tim Tebow.
Never let him step up. Tim Tebow, don't let him step up, and don't let him scramble to his left. He was a left-handed quarterback. We forced him to his right, and we never gave him a rush lane inside. We know on 3rd down and 3, guess what he's going to do? He's going to run the football. So we didn't play pass defense. We play run defense. So when you look at tendencies, you put your defenses in based off of tendencies, and that's how we beat Florida, who probably have more talent, but they were arrogant. I mean, we're going to put 70 points on Michigan. They talking all that noise. And like you say, boy, put that spanking. Spank that, spank that, Come on, boy, I ain't mad at nobody. So now, my game plan, you look at formations, down and distance, you're going to have a good idea when those plays going to pop up.
All right, let's go back to the questions for Vance. This has been a question. Jay Mommy wants to know, do you think Michigan will have 1 or 2 spies during the game? What do you think of the spy concept, especially 2 spies? What do you think of that?
Go ask Georgia how that worked for them. Mm-hmm. That's a prime example. Go ask Auburn how it worked for them. That didn't work. You might have 1 spy, but you got to rush 4 people. Or if you're going to spy a guy, you got to tell the defensive lineman, hey, you got a free rush. Go turn it loose. So now when he pops outside, you go get him. I'm at Texas. We playing Mahomes here at Texas Tech. We rushed 3 and spy. So we told the guys rushing, you got a free release. As soon as the tackle said how they went inside, Mahomes stepped outside, boom, spy went and got him and took the angle away. So if you're going to rush 3, as the line moves, that spy, he steps up. And as soon as he breaks, you go get him. Well, Georgia just laid on the offensive tackle. They never moved the line. They never got a rush inside to say you got to scramble for the spies to get him. So they just cupped him and gave him a nice safe pocket. You got to make him move the football, move his feet. Then the spies goes and gets him. So now you can rush 3 and then go spy him. Tell those guys rushing, baby, go turn it loose. You go inside, outside. I don't care where you go. I got a guy sitting right behind you to go get him when he breaks his tail.
All right. Moving on to the next one for Vance. Kwame Tuasami wants to know. Kwame Tumasi. Sorry about that, Kwame, for butchering your name. I apologize, man. Vance, what are your thoughts on our linebacker performance against Iowa?
It looked like I heard you earlier, Coastal was a little bit nicked up. I mean, so it wasn't necessarily one of our better performances, but it was good enough to win the ball game. And that's all that matters. So when guys are banged up, the best thing that can happen right now, they get a full week off. They should be in there getting treatment, getting massages, stretching, all the type of things necessary to get themselves ready. So they have a good 3 weeks to get themselves physically ready and back on track to go play Alabama in the Rose Bowl.
All right. On to the next one for Vance. All right. This one from Mr. Bebop Blue. Vance, if you are Nick Saban, what is your biggest fear happening when Alabama is on defense? Heard their safeties are young and their interior isn't quite elite. So when they're on offense, when they're on defense facing Michigan's offense, what do you think their biggest fear is?
Loveland. You know that answer already. I've been preaching his praises ever since last year. They don't match up with him. They really don't. To put a safety or linebacker on Loveland, he should have a big game for us. If we don't throw the ball to Loveland 10 times versus Alabama, we're doing something wrong. Because, again, they're going to walk up and press our receivers. When I watch our receivers play, nothing against our guys, they're great route runners. I don't see a speed demon out there that makes them nervous. Their issue is going to be inside. How do we defend both those tight ends? Okay. And their strength, Alabama's strength are their corners and their defensive ends. So their thing is on drop back pass, you're trying to send out 5 guys, they're going to say, your offensive tackles can't block our defensive ends. When you go in that ball game and think one defensive end has 10 sacks by himself, the other guy I think has 7 or 8, along with the quarterback pressures. So the issue for us is, how are we going to protect against those defensive ends to get the ball down the football field? That's what's going to be important. But they don't match up with Loveland. Our tight ends should have a field day in this game.
Okay. Yeah, the big time speed guy is Roman. I gotta believe there are gonna be some play passes on the menu in this game. I think Al said they ran 1 play pass in the last game because he charts all that. I know you know that, Vance.
Yeah, I heard
one play pass for Michigan. Come on.
Anytime you playing 3 match of quarters, you go play action pass and you can freeze the safety, that means the receiver is going to be one-on-one. He is going to have to win. And that's the key. And you asked me earlier about how did Texas beat them. Texas beat them on play action pass. Worthy got to be a low 4-4 guy, maybe faster. He beat the corner one-on-one because the safety was frozen at the time. On play action pass, ran right by the guy. Like I said, but I know he can fly. When I look at Michigan receivers, I have yet to see that type of speed. I see great route runners. I see guys in the red zone doing a great job. But just running by guys, I haven't seen that. So if I'm Alabama, I'm thinking we're going to walk up and press these guys. We just got to take the tight ends out of the mix. We're going to be fine. That's what Nick's probably thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to show them. You got to show him. Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Yeah. He was committed to Michigan. Xavier Worthy was committed to Michigan, then flipped to Texas. So
best money could buy, baby. I'm from the Longhorns. They got oil everywhere. Come on, baby. You walk down the Capitol. They got oil flowing down the street and pipes just overflowing right now. Just get you a cup so you can go sell it.
Man's telling all the secrets.
I didn't get any. I came through, just going back to the 70s, man, they kept it from me. I didn't see a penny. But my old man said, "You may not take a penny from nobody." I said, "All right, Daddy."
All right, let's move on to the next one. Um, let's see. Let's skip over that one. People, you already answered the question about spies. All right, Coach, you gave one mismatch. Is that's the mismatch from when Michigan's on offense? What mismatch do you see for Michigan when they're on defense? What's Michigan's best matchup defensively that you think they'll be able to take advantage of?
I think with the movement that we have, I think it's going to be an advantage to us because majority of teams that Alabama see, they don't move as much as we did. A lot of teams in that particular conference, they're getting 3 down or 4 down, and they just play technique. It's like I watched Georgia. Georgia just lined up and said, "We big and strong." So guess what Alabama kept running? They kept running duo. I mean, that 330-pound defensive tackle, they put him on his back several times. But we don't sit there and say, "Hey, hit us." I mean, I go back to what I said a few months ago. Bo Schembechler said this when I was there. He said, "Give your defensive lineman a 3-way go. Give them an opportunity." So we're going to let you make a play. We're not going to let you sit there and get doubled the entire game. That's unfair to you. We're going to put you in position to make plays. And that's what we do. We do quite a bit of that because we ran Lightning, I think, 3 times. We ran Cowboy 3 times. So it's overloading from one side and angling the other way. So we're going to move our guys. A lot of times, an offensive lineman, when you start moving guys, they don't fire off as physically. They kind of waiting and reading. So now you got a chance to, boom, hit them in the mouth and knock them back. So I think what we do scheme-wise, that should help us out quite a bit.
All right, Marcus Ellis wants to know, Vance, give us the bowl prep schedule. You got this month between games, coaching, recruiting, players, conditioning, the short version. How does it go?
Coaches on the road right now recruiting. I mean, so the strength coaches and the players are doing. If you have any type of injury, you got this week off. You're getting ready for finals, those type of things. So you get massages. You're in the weight room doing. You got time off in the weight room, but most of the guys don't show up and do certain things. You work on your flexibility. The biggest thing right now is getting healthy. I mean, I go back to the bowls I've been in. A lot of our guys, they're looking at video on their own. They're looking who they have to go against, what they have to do. But right now, recruiting is big. I'm looking online. I see Harbaugh having home visits, those type of things right now. So very few coaches are in the office. So the players, they're on their own getting ready for this game right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to the next question for Vance. Blank name. He says that Georgia front is the worst front they've had in the last 3 years. I think our front is miles better than Georgia this year. Our front is closer to Georgia in 2021. You think it's like that?
Georgia 21 had some first round picks, but they had 3 first round picks. That D line, I'm put them in the category all by themselves. Don't talk about that now.
Right.
Now we might be a lot closer to the Georgia D line last year, but they had the Carter kid who was a first round pick that's balling for the Eagles right now. And I think as a total defense, as a scheme, it puts us in the same category as that 22 Georgia defense. That 21 Georgia defense. Now, I talked to some pro scouts, some guys I personally know. They're like, "Man, they got first round picks, don't even start." That was a different animal altogether.
Yeah, that was something different for sure. Steve Horn said, Vance, Texas beat Bama with edge pressure. They seem to be big and slow. Do you think that's the case?
They've improved. I think Texas surprised them. They have 2 young defensive ends. They have Anthony Hill kid that was a 5-star guy. He is a heck of a little pass rusher. And they got another kid, I think what's his name? Burke. He is a 6'5", 6'6" guy that's a play hard guy. So you got a chance. I think our defensive ends, one-on-one, have a chance to beat those guys because they are big. But I think with quickness and the things we do, we have a chance to beat those guys on the edge. And the biggest thing is that when the quarterback steps up, we got to make sure we have a good push inside and don't give this guy an escape lane.
All right. Moving on to the next question. Vance. All right. Let's see. This one is from Ronald Taylor. Hey, Sam and Vance. Do you think Alabama's offense is similar to Ohio State when Urban was there, and will it give us trouble on defense?
Urban offense, I always say, was a version of the wing T. This isn't, but when you talk about the physicality of what they do in the run game, from that standpoint, yes, you're gonna get some RPO, you're gonna get some quarterback power, some quarterback sweep. From that standpoint, they have some similarities, but the physicality is about the same. The Ohio State team right now is nothing like that, but Urban's offense, you see some of the same thing. Urban was a physical guy. This offense is about the same, very physical. But they don't have the speed that Urban's philosophy don't have the fastest team in college football. They got good speed at Bama, but they don't have blazers.
All right. It's a point you made earlier. Adam Shepardson made it separately. He said UGA kept only 3 D line and 2 spies on, and that Bama O line moved them all day. Did you see that?
Fear factor of a quarterback running the football. You can't be afraid of that. You know it's an issue. Every defensive coach is always concerned about an athletic quarterback. Let's be for real. You really are. But if you go into the game plan thinking, if I just contain this guy, we can win the football game, you can probably lose. You got to go in there and take something away. I'm going back to when I was at Michigan, we played Tim Tebow. We said we're going to take certain things away from Tim and make him do some different things. Well, with Milroe, you got to do the same thing. You got to make sure that I attack him. I give him one escape. It's escape to the sideline, to the short side of the field. Well, at the end of the day, we can run him out of bounds. So certain things you can do to attack him to take away what he does well.
Okay. So this question has come up. So I just put a couple of them up here. Ali Folletti says, we can't talk to Vance if we play Texas for the Natty.
Why can't you? Hey, at the top of the screen, it says the Michigan Insider. It doesn't say the University of Texas Longhorns. It says the Michigan Insider. So I'm working for my man, Sam the Man Webb. So when you ask me questions, of course, that's my alma mater. I love my school. Don't ever get me wrong. I love my school. And if they play each other, I'm going to tell you, I love my school. I went to school there. I left a knee there in 1980. It's still on about the 45-yard line on the ESP, on the ABC game, September 1st on Labor Day. Okay, so it's still there. So, yeah, I love my university, but when questions are asked about what does Michigan need to do if they have to play Texas, like I've done for every single game, I would do the same thing. I hold nothing back. I don't drop my dime and keep on moving. Now, if Texas want to hire me for the Texas Insider to talk, that's one thing, but let me see my phone ringing. That screen is dark. So guess how many calls I got?
Hey, Vance, I remember one of the Ohio State commenters one of these weeks said, hey, Vance, can you come over and do some Ohio State stuff?
They did. I got a message from an Ohio State fan about coming to work for Ohio State. But like I said, University of Texas, because I didn't play for Mac Brown or Darryl Raw, I'm coming on the outs. I mean, they had their favorite head coaches. My head coach was Fred Akers. He wasn't the most beloved guy there. So it's like my 10 year and his time, that's 10 years as head coach, never existed there. So I make people mad every time I say that, but they know how I feel too.
So you won a national championship with Michigan.
Yes.
Man. So Travis Foster, and I saw that comment, and Travis Foster said, hey, man, Michigan versus Texas, we know you're going to answer the Michigan questions. We know you're going to be here doing what you do, giving it straight, no chaser. But when it comes to the rooting interests, when it comes to who you're pulling for, how's that one going to go, Vance? That's what Travis Foster wanted to know.
Hey, you know I'm not a political guy. I'll shoot you straight. I left for need 1980 at Texas. Texas always going to be one. Michigan going to be 1A. You know what I'm saying? Me hold them back. I'm just shoot you straight. So no matter who wins, if they play each other, I'm going to feel good for the winner because I have a lot invested in both. I don't feel bad for the loser. But at the end of the day, I'm going to end up being a winner because one of my favorite teams won.
There you go. See,
so I can't lose.
That's the straight no chaser that we get from Vance Bedford. So Mark Kraft wants to know, what effect does warmer weather at the Rose Bowl have on cold weather teams like Michigan? Did you feel like that was a thing when y'all went out to the Rose Bowl?
No, that didn't phase us at all. I mean, you so hyped up. And, you know, with Lloyd, we always went out an extra week early. And so we can get away from everybody. We had to stay in a different hotel. We practiced for a week. Then we moved into the team hotel and all the fans and everybody else came down. So it's all about the preparation. I mean, because right now, it's getting a little chilly down there in Alabama in this time of year. It's a wet humidity, and it's actually colder sometimes. But you have an indoor practice facility right there in Ann Arbor. you're not going to feel the cold, so it's not going to affect you whatsoever. And you got a great strength and conditioning coach, so you're going to be well conditioned, so it won't be a problem at all.
So
When we played Washington in '97, and they were at that time up tempo, 4 wides, no wides, our guys never got tired.
So give me your take on the Texas-Washington game, Vance.
Whew, my goodness. That quarterback from Washington, he can lock and load. The key to that game is, can Texas score? If Texas can score early and often, they're going to win the game by 10 points. If they get behind, they could be in trouble. So that's going to be the key, is how well does Quinn Ewers play? Is he accurate? Washington, if they don't blitz him, they won't get home. Texas' offensive line is big, but their weak spot are the offensive tackles. If you speed rush the offensive tackle, they're not going to get home. And if you look at Texas right now in the red zone, I think they somewhere around red zone offense. I think they're in the 90s. They struggle in the red zone. They score primarily on big plays. And like I say, Worthy, he can fly. They got 3 receivers that's pretty doggone good. And the running back is a freshman kid out of Florida with that big old offensive line that you can't see, you can't find the guy. So it could be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I just had to kick a Buckeye out of the room because he came in being belligerent.
What did he say?
Came in not being a guest. You a guest in the house. We were gracious enough to let you in after your team let you down again after your coach. Vance, what you think about? Remember I said that somebody was getting fired if Ohio State lost again. Somebody was getting fired. Somebody was going to be out, is the point. Now, I was thinking of coach, but this applies. It's the same measure applies here. The quarterback is gone. He lost 1 game, Vance. 1 game. And that dude's in the transfer portal.
That's amazing. He's a redshirt freshman, too, I believe. Guess who they're trying to get? Arch Manning from Texas. And also the other quarterback, Malik Murphy at Texas. See, Arch Manning is a true freshman. Malik Murphy is a redshirt freshman. He's 6'5", 6'6". Now, he can't run. He a pocket passer. I'll tell you what now. He got a bazooka on that arm. He can throw that rock. Woo-wee. If I'm Ohio State. Now, hey, I'm trying to reach his mom illegally, which is would be because he hadn't entered the transfer portal right now. I'm going, hey, Ohio State, I got interest in your son. You know, they got Arch Manning going to stay and Quinn Ewers coming back. And you see every time Arch go on the field for 2 plays, he gets a standing ovation. The league go on the field, you get no noise at all. So what's they telling you? The fans want Arch Manning.
Yeah, man, how is that going to work out? So Quinn Ewers definitely coming back?
Going into this season, people say he's going to be a first-round pick. He missed 3 games because he was hurt. So I don't see a first-round pick right there. I really don't. And so every indication is right now he's starting to help recruiting. He's starting to all of a sudden, starting to follow these 5-star receivers across the country, trying to get receivers there. So he's not leaving. He's coming back.
So what do you think that means for Arch and for Malik?
One of them going to transfer. The word on the street I heard is this: Arch, he loves Austin, Texas. Some of his family members want him to transfer, but he loves Austin. Austin's a great city now. I mean, it's nothing not to love in Austin.
Austin is like Ann Arbor to me.
Bigger.
Yeah.
It's bigger. You know, it's you got the state capitol there. It's got everything you want. If you want to go out, if you want to go and hunt, it's there. If you want to go camping, it's there. If you want to go on a river, it's there. If you want to go in the city, listen to jazz, it's there. I mean, in the surrounding area, it's over 1 million people there. So it's really big. So I hear he's loving Austin, Texas, and he doesn't want to leave because he knows if Quinn comes back 1 more year, he's going to be the starter after 3 years, or 2 if he comes out early. That means Malik, in my opinion, is a guy that's going to probably leave because but they say Malik's parents want him to earn his degree from there. But the kid's a heck of a football player. So if he wants to play football, being a Texas X, understanding the University of Texas, and I had to put it this way, and being a black quarterback at the University of Texas, you better off leaving.
That's still the thing, even after Vince Young went there and won for him.
Man, give me a break. Come on. Hey, you know about Juneteenth?
I know about Juneteenth.
Where did Juneteenth start at?
That started in Texas?
Yeah. It started in Galveston, Texas, because 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation,
They told them
That came to Texas, the slaves were free. So the state of Texas has always been a little bit behind on how they do things. And you got to understand now, Texas is still a different place. I love my alma mater. I'm just being honest. I mean, just think about it. You go back to the 60s and 70s now, most of the black players couldn't go to schools in that area. That's why they went west, they went east. I mean, you think of Michigan State, Bubba Smith and all those guys. Well, they come out of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so again, in that state, it was always a little bit behind. And just when Charlie Strong got the head job, guess what one of the rich alumni said? Oh, Charlie Strong can never be an assistant football coach. Well, he just been a head coach to meet Florida and Miami in bowl game. It's one of these wealthy $500 million boosters said that. So, that was 2014. So, again, that mindset is still there. People don't want to talk about it. But you know me, it's like I said, what they going to do to those Vance at 65 on Social Security and Medicare? Well, you know what they gave me? A handshake and a foot out the door. I'm good. So, hey, like my man Richard Broyles say, I ain't mad at nobody. I'm retired. And they get mad. If I get mad, I'll go out there in the cold and throw me some ribs on my grill and be laughing every day.
I hear
Just
that.
and it's wine from Woodson out there.
Yeah. Oh, wood. All right. So one more question before we get out of here, Vance. Getting back to Michigan and their game in the Rose Bowl. How does our D line compare physically? You talk about the movement and the slants and doing what they do to get free, but physically, how do they compare to Bama's offensive line?
We talked about Ohio State's offensive line. They were big. I thought they were a little slow and stiff. These guys are big, a little bit more athletic, and they're very physical. And they want to run the football. That's Nick Saban. I mean, he knows what they are. When they had Bryce Young, they were start throwing the football more. Now he realized I don't have Bryce Young. This guy here has as a quarterback, a certain skill set. So he's going to run the football first, play action pass second. He's going to take some deep shots. So you're going to see a physical offensive line. If you don't move now, they're going to run duo like we run duo. When they double team you now, you're talking about close to 700 pounds trying to get you off that line of scrimmage. So we need to be moving on these guys to keep them all balanced and take the double teams off our downs. If we do that, we'll be just fine.
All right, Vance. We'll wrap up with a great question from Adam Shepardson. Vance, would you run much man-to-man versus Bama? The zone seems safest, but we'll have to tackle well, especially around the line of scrimmage. I mean, man-to-man is with a quarterback like that just makes me – I want eyes on the dude. How would you do it, Vance?
You want eyes on the guys. I think you got to mix it up. You can't ever sit back there and be scared now. I mean, if you run a man-to-man, I'm bringing 5 guys. I'm not bringing 4. I'm bringing 5. I'm bringing 1 extra guy to get him off the point and make him have to move his feet so he can't sit there and let a guy run away from us. Again, I'm Georgia. Georgia rushed 3 and inspired 2. They playing man-to-man with a quarterback had all day long. So guess what? He hits some passes because now he has 5 seconds for a guy to run a route. I'm trying to get that to 2.8 seconds. Guy don't have time necessarily to run away from my defensive back at 2.8 seconds. So no, I don't mind bringing the heat. I have no issues with that. I mean, it's I like to blitz. So you're asking me that question, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm going to blitz you. I don't care who you are as quarterback. It's just part of it. If he was a great passer, I might think differently. But he's not a great passer. He is a good passer that if you give him time, he gets his confidence. If you make him throw on a run sometimes, yeah, he'll hit some passes, but he's not very accurate. So I'm making a guy move his feet.
Great stuff as always from the man we call Vance. The people love you, Vance. They love you, and so they keep asking, "Are we going to have some events?" I am meeting with Tom Brady's crew. I'm meeting with Tom. I can't make any promises. Meeting with Tom Brady's crew about doing something at the Rose Bowl, and if that goes well, we'll talk about doing some things down in Houston because we got to do something with Vance. We got to do something with Vance.
Man, you got to do something. You down there, I get that. I think that Wednesday. You got to do something, baby. Yeah. You got to have me live at 5 down in H-Town.
We will make it
happen. I'll be ready to rock and roll, man.
We'll make it. See you making it so if we do something live, but Al gonna want to be there. He gonna say,
Tell Al to come on down. Hey, we go hang out somewhere. Go to a nice steakhouse. I can see that Al tell man like steaks. I can see that right now.
Yeah, we could do a live breakdown. Now, how about that? We do a live breakdown for the people.
That'd be a whole lot of fun. I would love to do a show with Al. We're talking offense and defense, and Al started talking. Well, we got protection, and You know, you look at this front here, and I got through. I said, "Oh, hey, I'm showing this way. I'm going to blitz you off the edge and hit you in the back of your head. It's going to be a cause fumble. Your quarterback knocked out. His helmet over here. His mouthpiece over there. That protection not going to work out. It's taking too long for you to talk about it."
Hey, so y'all, would y'all like that? If y'all would like, if Michigan makes the national championship, should we do a live gathering with Al and Vance, breaking it all down? We're going to do a breakdown that week anyway, but maybe we just do it live. What would you guys think about that? You know, and you respond in the comments, and I talk to old time.
Hey, I got one thing to say. See, I'm going to go back to Ohio State game, and my man Sam said, "Well, if we win," I said, "Sam, can you quit saying that?" I said, "We will win against Alabama." I'm not saying if. I know who we are. I know what we can do. I know the attitude of Coach Harbaugh. We are going to win, and we're going to do us a live show in Houston, Texas with me on it. It's just that simple. There's no if. I mean, I'm not going fishing and hoping I catch something. If I'm going fishing, Sam, I'm throwing a net. I know I'm going to catch me something. So you're going to go out there with a line, with a worm. Fish don't want that worm. I'm just going to throw my net out there and pull it back in. I got fish for 2-3 weeks. I already know what's going to happen. Say, I know we're going to win, and I know we're going to do a live show. You just find a way to make it work so I can be on the show.
Ah, man, I know all kind of people. My man Flim, Freddie J's guy Flim. I know he'll come out. He'll get everybody coming over.
Hey, Fleming called me a couple of times already. Flim said, "Man, they get down there now. I got some gumbo going for him right now." I said, "Hey, you go make it happen. I'll go pick up Fred. We can have some gumbo. We're good to go."
Hey, well, Flim, because Flim watch. I know you watch Flim. You gotta find us a spot, Flim. You a scout, just like you were scouting those players for Freddie J all those years. Now you the scout for the spot for the live breakdown. So Flim, get on the job, brother. All right, folks, let's go. We bring y'all into the network right now. Bring you into the network of how we get things done. All right, that's going to do it for this breakdown. Remember, you got the Blake Corum Toy Drive this Saturday at Somerset Collection, North Grand Court, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Brought to you by Wolverine Boots and the Champion Circle. And Sports Talk 1050 WTK is going to be out there. We're going to do a live broadcast on the radio, but I'm also going to have my film crew out. So I'm gonna have my film crew, all the camera guys. We're gonna actually live stream the day. So if you aren't there, you'll be able to watch it on our platform, on the YouTube channel, on Facebook, on Twitter, and we'll have ways in which you can contribute online. Blake has a rent relief program he's supporting as well. There are different ways in which you'll be able to contribute to the many causes that Blake is supporting. So we're going to support him, and you can support him too through us as we bring that to you live to those who can't make it out there. But those who can, come on out. Hope to see you Saturday over at the Somerset Collection for the Blake Corum Toy Drive, brought to you by Wolverine Boots and the Champion Circle. That's going to do it for us here on another edition of the Michigan Football Breakdown, focused on the defense with Vance Bedford.
Go Blue.